Hello people, it's me again. Bogarus. Again with the funny messages. So guys, I have to say, I will be really glad when in the end I'm finally through my stash of ancient recordings and up to the ones where I actually did live commentary. Because wow, this is some work. For your information, the raw footage for this half-hour episode was a full hour. I had to go through all this shit and cut out over 30 minutes of bullshit I didn't want you to sit through. And it's still nearly 27 minutes long. That's some fine scripting I did in this turn. So anyway, we're basically already at war with Bogarus. We have just not done enough scripting in invasions and shit. We're just still moving troops around and giving them equipment, like for example those wine bags, so the enormous amount of supplies I am using isn't as enormous anymore. In the end, it didn't really do that much. There were still lots of starving birdmen, but well, every little bit helped. And as a primary definition, I didn't have much use for nature gems anyway. So forging stuff for my scouts and my remaining living leaders was at least squeezing some usage out of nature gems in this case. Yeah, that's a lot of those things. Of course, I think around this turn I slowly noticed the problem with too many wine bags, by which I mean they stop working after some point, which really annoyed me. In this case I put additional wine bags on the army to get the supply usage down just 50 points more, so my giant army wouldn't starve. But it didn't work, so I tried taking them away and noticed that the supply usage didn't actually go up. So this means a lot of those wine bags I put in this army turned out to be not working at all. A mystery, because in some provinces they did. I get the feeling there is some kind of weird threshold for wine bags. I should have forged a more expensive version, the stronger version, and tried them again. But I think I don't actually have a nature mage strong enough for this. So instead, I tried moving around my wine bags to get some kind of optimal coverage without using more than I actually can use, which wasted another multiple minutes I didn't cut out, because when I skimmed through the footage it looked like I was doing some really important shit and not just wasting everyone's time. Well, anyway, at least you can now see me being confused by simple shit like this. But in the end I squeezed my lemons to make lemonade, and after taking away the useless wine bag from the overburdened armies, I give them to other armies who didn't have enough before. Well, lesson learned. A lesson I can only apply in gimmick games like this one, because holy shit, in a normal game you really seldom have an army large enough to use that many nature items to help you out with supplies. Anyway, now that's slowly getting serious. There's of course tons and tons of scripting to be done, especially for my Raven Lords. Still haven't given up on my idea of using stealthy Raven Lords with extra equipment and their stealthy units to wreak havoc behind enemy lines. Man, this strategy will be so impressive if I ever can pull it off. Of course I have used a completely wrong game, with everyone having something insane like defense 40 and more. There's just no way I can send enough of these guys into a province to make a difference. Because at the point where they can make a difference, there are so many units there. I think the greatest stealth items wouldn't be enough to keep them undiscovered. You have to realize high defense means also a higher chance of getting discovered. And while stealthy units are good, the more units your stealthy commanders carry around, the higher the chance is to get discovered. So both adds up pretty damn fast. So this kind of stealth attack, well, you need a lot of stealth to keep them from getting discovered. And you also need a game where not every province is loaded up under the ceiling with province defense. Also, I decided my armies should get at least some priests. Otherwise, there's still some magic recruits going on. In the north, it's still mostly priests because, well, somehow I have to prevent my Dominion from just caving in here. It would probably help if my pretender was up here. On the other hand, I need my pretender in the south for reasons which will become clear over the next turn. It's kind of unfair, all those nature/astral lizards up here have given this province such insane negative supply usage that it would be incredibly useful. On the other hand, I need most of those guys either for forging or for research. That's why I forged all those skeleton mentors in the first place. Skull mentors. Very important difference. Here you can see me moving my first army into position very carefully, since this front is rather close to Gav, so it can easily happen that we have some accidents here. And then I keep fucking things up with movement. Also, I see there's a lot of unrest in that one province. I'm guessing that's not natural, as Pangea sent me another little present. Who knows? I'll deal with that later. And here's my super mage. I'll keep moving that guy around. I think he was supposed to get something. I think I wanted to give him additional troops or something. Honestly, after half a year, I have trouble remembering why I did this, but I'm pretty sure back then I had a really impressive plan. So let's see what I did all those months in the past. Will be a real surprise for me too. Right now it doesn't look too bad. Of course, Gav is phenomenally powerful, which is too bad. Well, that's a problem for later. You can't try to deal with everything all at once. It would just make you go insane, especially in a game like Dominions 4. So I'll just carry on with my attack on Bogarus. And if shit happens, shit happens. No big deal. As a reminder, Bogarus is our primary target. Pangea, if Pangea makes some trouble for us. And Gav. Gav is hopefully a case where I can stealthily sneak some drones away and then just keep on preventing him from stealing the drones back, and then me sneaking in a silent win at the last minute. Because with that many vampires, I somehow don't think that would be a fruitful way of fighting, especially with my own capital basically just one province away from the border. That would be the shortest war ever. But if I can eat enough drones from Bogarus and later from Pangea, I may just pull this off. The best thing would of course be our alliance with Gav continuing, with him hopefully eating Bogarus and parts of Pangaea but not getting too many turns. Yeah, with him sieging one throne right now, it's kind of looks like I'm falling behind, but well, there are still many chances. I mean, one of Pangaea's thrones is right next to my border. If Pangaea can just hold a couple of turns back before betraying us, that would be awesome. Because it would really suck if it turns out that when he's finally backstabbing us, that all my armies on the Bogarus front shouldn't really happen, because with my insane income, I'm basically recruiting entire armies each turn. So even a surprise attack should face some resistance, even if it's just winged dudes with a sharp stick and an angry look. But anyway, slowly we're mixing more and more mages with our giant stupid armies in. Because against a real human being, we need real mages. And that's a lot of skeleton mages here. Also tons and tons of chaff and archers. I even have a lot of my iron hail archers here. Hopefully I can get a bless off, and then they should have insane range. My normal archers will basically just hop forward with their wings and then shoot, so that's not a problem. It's even better since they are cheap crap, so if they hop forward and get killed, means my more expensive iron hail archers in the back are a bit more protected. And I really hope that my storm assaults with my surviving mammoths will finally kill all of them off before some magical crap happens. And I have to deal with the fallout of having too many mammoths. Seriously, in the early game they were incredibly useful, but I may have gone a bit over the top with them. Of course, I was also lucky that there was no real enemy fighting me all this time, or I would have lost a lot of them sooner or later, since mammoths are especially vulnerable against magic. But anyway, this didn't happen, so now Ramk from Bogarus can have fun killing them. If I get those slow fairy asses to the front fast after this. As you see, my first attacks go forward. This one here, right here, is more of some sort of, you could call it feint. Some mages, some chaffer, but not a serious attack. I mean, it's barely 100 units here. That's just an army in a normal game, not this one. It's more like a small strike force. And here I'm starting to rename shit. I'm not accidentally dragging my research mages with me. And at this point I cut out tons of this shit. And some scripting too. So if you're wondering why I'm suddenly capable of just blindly taking all those guys and moving them, that's why. Hey, one moment, those guys aren't really named. Guessing I was. Oh shit, they are unscripted, right? So I know what is happening now. Yes, renaming tons of mages. Oh god, I'm getting flashbacks to this shit. And I hope I have cut out more of this. I can't believe this. I already cut out half an hour of this, and there's still this stuff there inside. Okay, this is a priest. So you can see the numbers are kind of useless, because after doing this over and over again, I kind of said fuck it and just put down whatever number came to mind. But the really important thing are the abbreviations at the beginning: RES for research mages, CPR for combat priest, to prevent me from accidentally dragging preaching priests from their positions. That kind of shit. Commanders I don't want to move with me have names like reservistas and all that shit. It's a astonishingly simple problem, but of course all those numbers would throw someone else off. I can't even think of what Bogarus would think if he sees all these jumbled numbers. No, I don't actually have 14,000 priests ready. That's just a random number I typed down after getting bored out of my skull. After typing so many number codes down. It's not even that useful as a strategy, because in the end all those guys will probably die and the reinforcements will have to be renamed again. I just hope that at some point I have enough magical crap summoned to replace my old harp seraphs, because boy are those things unwieldy as fuck. Just look at them in a combat screen, they're all looking the same regardless of their paths. And even if they say go in a normal screen and only select the ones I want to script, let's say with death, there's then an additional problem. Well, I know there was a problem with shit, but I forgot which one. Pretty sure I even wrote it down because it really annoyed me at the time. But anyway, this renaming shit is something I hopefully never have to do again. Next time I'm planning on thinking a lot harder on how to deal with weirdly pathed mages. Also, I guess I will never ever play Late Age Yeoman, because their Shugenias and Master Shugenia mages have the same dumb problem. Tons of paths, but if you want to combine useful magical shit on the battlefield, you have to think about how to group all those the same looking mages. Man, I hope I make myself clear. Anyway, you noticed there was some weird cut in between. That's because this turn went over for so long. I originally planned to have 2 videos, well, each one half an hour long. Even more naming here for you. But then I started making this Let's Play together with How Are You, and well, shit. Since I didn't just make this for my own amusement, now I have to actually think about shit like people looking at what I'm doing. So I reworked those 2 videos and cut them together into one episode, and even made it half-sized, just so you can look without screaming. Yeah, there were also tons of scripting you have missed. I'm sure you're really sad about this. And as you notice, my armies are getting to the insane point where formations are basically just a behavior suggestion, because there's just one giant uniform rectangle after everything is positioned. I just have to kind of hope that nothing goes wrong when those giant rectangles make contact with the enemy. 2 things that are wonderful in this kind of insane giant army is, first, all my mages are hidden somewhere around my archers, and since the wing dudes all look similar, they are really hard to actually find. And enemy mages will probably kill tons and tons of archers without ever targeting my mages, since they are hidden among the masses. And second great thing, since my dudes have wings, they won't stumble upon each other when they start marching. So the one drawback of having a giant uncoordinated lump of units is just not there for my armies, rather long. as I have mainly Calomite armies. I'm planning on changing this, but it's kind of hard to change to a summon-based army when you're lacking enough Gams to actually summon all this shit. You look at my 6 death Gams. I'm summoning again and again, but even though I site searched everywhere, my death income isn't really that large. A problem for us. Anyway, another problem is of course my insane income. I am nearly getting 16,000 gold coins at this moment, and upkeep for my insane armies is barely half of that. And even after all my major recruitments are accounted for, there is just tons of gold left over, and since I've already built labs, temples, and fortresses nearly everywhere, there is a certain amount of leftover gold I just have no use for. I mean, I'm still recruiting normal units like mad everywhere, but I'm still running more into problems with resources than with gold. Kind of funny. Could probably, if I cared for, search for the fortresses and provinces with the most resources and then just primarily recruit from them. But the truth as told is I'm mostly doing that already, and it's still not enough. And of course, if I somehow manages to recruit maximum amount of units everywhere, then I would run into the additional problem of, as soon as my income goes down, all my mage recruitments would be stopped together with the normal recruitment. So I'm forced to leave at least a couple thousand gold over every turn, just in case. This means of course that as long as I'm not building new fortresses, labs, and temples, I keep getting richer even though I have all those insane armies. This in turn also means that as long as can prevent all my mages from dying, losing an entire army basically means nothing, except me wasting a couple turns to direct the reinforcements back to the front. It's kind of funny. I recently saw How Are You posting some graphs to show how the situation overall is in the world, and it looks like my income was second highest, sometimes even highest, but only for a short amount of time. I think Bogarus still has the most income from all of us. That may be wrong. I wasn't really paying that much attention, to be honest. But again, but we'll see. We'll see. If I'm totally wrong, then everyone feel free to correct me. So, and now I'm typing a message. Here I'm using Bogarus' Wrath of God global spell to make up a reason for me to invade him. Funny thing with the message system is of course, he will only get a message next turn when I already have invaded. This is kind of funny. Normally this message system is kind of annoying because you always have to wait an extra turn while messages are exchanged. You get a message, one turn has already gone for the one writing it, you write an answer and send them. But since you send it the next turn, the other guy has to sit through that one turn doing knowing nothing and hoping for the best. It's basically a bit weird. Kind of makes sense from a lore perspective, of course. People have to carry your weird messages around after all through a medieval world of magic and shit. But sometimes you're wondering why no one is using teleportation magic or something to get the message a bit faster forward. So anyway, back on topic. If you're declaring war like this, then of course this system is awesome, because you can write all this completely irrelevant bullshit here, and you can explain all your plans for the next turn, safe in the knowledge that if your enemy reads your message, all those plans have already been executed and it will be too late. That's basically not even like Adolf Hitler sending his declaration of war a couple minutes before he invades Poland. This is more like Adolf Hitler invading Poland, and then a month later he sends a message to himself as new overlord of Poland, declaring war against Poland. Man, that went a lot more confused there than I thought at first. Well, this is Dominion's 4 after all. Ah yes, and while I was ranting all this dumb shit, I've finally finished my declaration of war. And then I just sat there for a while, gloating, before hitting OK and sending the message off. There, now Bogarus will know that I'm invading. See, that's 1 attack there, 2 attacks, 3 attacks, 4 attacks, 5 attacks. 5 attacks in a single turn, and 2 more provinces in the turn that follows. Man, I wanted full 7 provinces attacked. Oh shit, 5 out of 7 isn't too bad either. Next turn, I'm out.